Hello, FlameTree Church family. We love you guys, and we thought it's time you heard from us once again about our strategy towards returning to corporate worship. There are several issues involved, and to kick us off, I've invited Tim to share with you what the restrictions are that are coming down from the government to help us understand. Thanks, Tim.
Thanks, Joel. Afternoon, family. Yeah, it's been a really interesting season, particularly for me, navigating the restrictions that have been sent down by Queensland Health and the government. It's really a tricky thing because the requirements placed upon churches are much more stringent than other areas of society, and so we're trying to work with that. We're trying to find out, okay, God, what does this look like for us? As it stands, places of worship are allowed a limit of 50 people in their gatherings. So all these restrictions apply whether indoors or outdoors. So keep that in mind. So currently we're restricted to 50 people per meeting. We can have more if we were to opt into what is called an industry safe plan, which allows us to have a maximum number of people according to the square meterage of our building.
What would that be for us?
That would only allow us 175 people. So it's an increase, but it's still problematic when you take into account for us to be able to hold those meetings, according to the industry plan, everyone is required to book before each meeting to give us their personal details, and those things are kept on file for Queensland Health. We're required to clean before and after every meeting thoroughly to remove any traces of potential coronavirus. We are required to screen everyone at the door, so our welcome teams would be required to ask every single person if they have experienced symptoms, and if they had, they're asked to not enter the building, which no one wants to be welcomed by when they come into church, really. We're also required to hold to the 4 square metre per person rule, hence the limitation on the numbers on the industry plan, and we would also be required to make announcements in every service about the restrictions and requirements to adhere in this stage of COVID restrictions. So it really does make it untenable. It is incredibly difficult, but it's the parameters we've been given that we need to fulfill.
That's right. And based upon that, some of you are thinking that you know churches that have gone back already, that are starting to try and meet together again. In almost all of those cases, the churches are smaller than FlameTree, and they can accommodate their members comfortably in their buildings according to the standards that meet the requirements. We, as you've heard, would be hard-pressed to do that unless we went to 3 or 4 services on a Sunday, and we simply don't have the resources to do that, either for cleaning in before and after, or for putting on the worship, or all of the staff required to manage that in a way that does not transgress the season of rest and quiet that God is insisting upon for his bride at this time. And so that's what I want to point out to you just in the last few minutes here. We will do our very best to meet the standards that are being required by the government. But at the same time, we understand that is also incidental to the major requirement that is coming down to us from heaven. As sons and daughters of heaven, of citizens of God's kingdom, the reason we're not coming back together again is not simply because we can't, because I suppose theoretically we could if we had the staff and the resources and the finances to manage it. But it's because the Spirit is saying, wait, not yet. And the Spirit is requiring us to trust the perfect timing of God. What is God doing at this moment? He's creating a new wineskin for new wine. Our role as leaders of a local church is not to be solution finders. We're not here to fix the problem that is COVID and somehow find a way where we can come back together and have corporate worship. Our role is to hear from the voice of heaven, from the voice of the Lord, and behave accordingly and lead you, this family, according to what we feel the Spirit is saying. And what we feel the Spirit saying is to wait, to trust, to be expectant, to watch and see how God will work. He will bring us into the formula, the wineskin, the way to have church again. And it will be soon, but it is not yet. And so we're encouraging you, as we are doing as elders and leaders and staff And I know so many of you, we want you in a posture of prayer so that we do not miss what God is doing. These are amazing days. And so we're salting our family with prayer declarations, with scriptures, with encouragement to be interceding for the nations and for the world and for FlameTree. This is an opportunity that will not come again in our lifetime, as far as we can see. It's historic, it is profound, it is important in terms of the redemptive strategy of God. And so we need to be a people of prayer primarily, who navigate through this uncertain season, as it were, on our knees, with great expectation as to what God will do. Again, He will bring us to the formula, to the way that the church needs to go. Our job is to follow Him, and we do that together. So thank you for your agreement. Thank you for your passion. Thank you for your surrender to the ways of the Lord. And we look forward, all of us, to seeing what God is going to do in and through all of this. God bless you. Talk to you again soon.